A Marriage Adrift. Maya Caldwell stood before the full-length mirror in the main bathroom of their Atlanta mansion, her deep brown eyes tracing the familiar contours of her face. At 34, she retained the striking beauty that had once turned heads. Her smooth, ebony skin glowing under the soft light, her tightly coiled hair cascading past her shoulders in a protective style she'd braided herself. But the mirror couldn't hide the exhaustion etched beneath her eyes, dark circles betraying sleepless nights. She dabbed concealer with practiced precision, each pat a small act of defiance against the weight of her unraveling marriage. 7 years ago, Maya had married Ethan Caldwell, a 39-year-old white American whose boyish charm and piercing blue eyes had captivated her at an art gallery opening. She adjusted her silk robe and wondered where that man had gone. Ethan, the CEO of Caldwell Enterprises, had become a stranger, his life consumed by board meetings and international deals. Their sprawling mansion, with its marble floors and floor-to-ceiling windows, felt more like a museum than a home. Beautiful, cold, and empty. "Maya, have you seen my gray suit? The Brioni one?" Ethan's voice echoed from the bedroom, sharp with the impatience that had become his default tone. Maya sighed, stepping out of the bathroom. "It's in the walk-in closet, on the second rack on the left, where it always is." Ethan stood by the dresser, already half-dressed in a crisp white shirt, his blonde hair, now flecked with gray, neatly combed. He was taller than she remembered in moments like this, his broad shoulders filling the room with a presence that once felt comforting, but now seemed distant. He strode to the closet without a glance, retrieving the suit with a muttered, "Thanks." Maya leaned against the door frame, her arms crossed. "Ethan, tomorrow's our 7th anniversary. We could have dinner together, just the two of us. Maybe at that Italian place we used to love." Ethan paused, slipping into his jacket. "Tomorrow? I've got a board meeting at 8, then lunch with the Hendersons. After that, the quarterly review with the Tokyo team will be held." He checked his watch, a sleek Rolex that cost more than Maya's first car. "I'll probably be late." "Don't wait up." Her throat tightened, but she pressed on. "It's been 7 years, Ethan. One night won't break the company." He finally looked at her, his blue eyes flickering with irritation. "Maya, you know how it is. Caldwell Enterprises doesn't run itself. I'm keeping us in this life. The house, the cars, your studio. What more do you want?" "I want my husband," she said softly, her voice steady despite the ache in her chest. "The one who used to leave notes in my sketchbook, who'd sneak me away for weekend trips to Savannah." Ethan's jaw tightened. "We're not kids anymore. This is real life." He grabbed his briefcase from the bed. "I'll have flowers sent tomorrow. That's what you like." Before Maya could respond, he was gone, his footsteps fading down the hall. She heard the roar of his Bentley starting in the driveway. Then silence. The mansion seemed to swallow her whole, its vastness amplifying her loneliness. Maya wandered to the kitchen, where their housekeeper Clara was brewing coffee. Clara, a warm woman in her 50s with a salt and pepper bun, smiled sympathetically. "Morning, Miss Maya. Coffee?" "Please," Maya said, sliding onto a stool at the granite island. "And just Maya, Clara. We've been through this." Clara chuckled, pouring a steaming mug. "Habit. You look like you didn't sleep a wink." Maya wrapped her hands around the mug, the warmth grounding her. "Just tired. Ethan." Clara set a plate of sliced mango before her. "That man works too hard. A husband should know his wife's worth more than all those deals." Maya managed a weak smile. "He thinks he's giving me everything but never here to share it." The phone rang, cutting through their conversation. It was Nia, Maya's best friend. her voice bright. "Hey girl, ready for lunch today? I'm not letting you spend your day moping." Maya had forgotten their plans. Lunch? Oh, right. 1 o'clock at the bistro? You forgot, didn't you? Nia teased. I'm dragging you out. Be there. After breakfast, Maya retreated to her art studio, a sunlit room Ethan had converted for her when they moved in. Canvases lined the walls, bursts of color capturing her emotions, swirling blues for her melancholy, fiery reds for her defiance. Today, she worked on a new piece, a vibrant abstract of a woman standing tall against a storm. Each brushstroke declared that she would not let this marriage define her. As she painted, memories surfaced. Ethan at her first gallery show, his eyes wide with awe at her talent. Their late-night talks about dreams, hers to exhibit nationally, his to build a legacy. Back then, his ambition had inspired her. But somewhere along the way, it had consumed him, leaving her to fight for their love alone. By noon, Maya changed into a mustard yellow dress that hugged her curves, her hair pulled into a sleek bun. She drove to the bistro, where Nia waited, her locks adorned with gold beads, her green jumpsuit vibrant against her mahogany skin. "There she is," Nia exclaimed, pulling Maya into a hug. 7 years married and still looking like a queen. They settled at a table by the window, the Atlanta skyline shimmering in the distance. Nia didn't waste time. "So, how's Mr. CEO? Still married to his office?" Maya sipped her iced tea, and the lemon tang was sharp. "He forgot our anniversary. Didn't even blink when I mentioned it." Nia's face darkened. "Maya, you're too good for this. You're a brilliant artist, a whole catch. Why do you stay?" "It wasn't always like this," Maya said, her voice softening. "When we met, Ethan was all in, showing up at my studio with coffee and planning surprise trips. But when he took over the company, it changed him. I keep hoping I can reach him again." Nia reached across the table, squeezing her hand. "You deserve someone who sees you, not just when it's convenient." Maya nodded, but her resolve flickered. She wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. After lunch, she drove home, the city's hum a backdrop to her thoughts. She picked up her brush in her studio, adding bold strokes to her canvas. This was her space, her voice. She kept creating and fighting for herself, no matter what happened with Ethan. Maya stood back as the sun dipped below the horizon, studying her painting. The woman in the storm looked stronger now, her silhouette unyielding. Maya smiled faintly. Tomorrow was their anniversary, and whether Ethan showed up or not, she would face it with the same strength. But deep down, a quiet ache lingered, for the man she'd married, for the love they'd lost, and for the hope that somehow they could find their way back. The catalyst of crisis. The Atlanta morning buzzed with the rhythm of a city waking up, horns blaring, coffee shops humming, and the skyline glinting under a pale November sun. Maya Caldwell sat in her art studio, her brush hovering over a half-finished canvas. The vibrant abstract from yesterday, a woman defying a storm, stared back at her, its bold reds and golds mirroring her resolve. It was her and Ethan's 7th anniversary, but the silence of the mansion told her he was already gone, likely buried in emails at Caldwell Enterprises. She sighed, dipping her brush in cobalt blue, determined to lose herself in her work. Her phone vibrated on the table, shattering her focus. The caller ID flashed Caldwell Enterprises, and her stomach twisted. Ethan's secretary, Vanessa, never called unless it was urgent. Maya set down her brush, wiping her hands on a rag, and answered. "Mrs. Caldwell, it's Vanessa." The voice came, tight with strain. There's been an accident. Ethan was driving to a morning meeting when a truck ran a red light. He's at City General Hospital, where he is in surgery. The world tilted. Maya's breath caught, her fingers gripping the phone. Is he... How bad is it? They're doing everything they can, Vanessa said, her voice softening. He was unconscious when they brought him in. You should come now. I'm on my way. Maya hung up, her heart pounding like a drum. She grabbed her purse and keys, her movements mechanical, as if her body were acting while her mind reeled. With its warm light and scattered paints, the studio felt like a distant memory as she raced to her car, a sleek SUV parked in the mansion's driveway. The drive to City General was a blur of traffic lights and honking horns. Maya's thoughts churned. Ethan's dismissive words from yesterday, "I'll have flowers sent," clashing with memories of their early days. His laughter filling their tiny apartment. She couldn't lose him. Not like this. Not when they were still so far apart. Her hands trembled on the steering wheel, but she forced herself to focus, weaving through Atlanta's morning rush. The antiseptic smell hit her at the hospital as she pushed through the glass doors. The reception desk loomed ahead, a nurse in blue scrubs glancing up. Ethan Caldwell, my husband. He was in a car accident, Maya said, her voice steadier than she felt. The nurse nodded, checking her screen. He's in surgery. Take the elevator to the 3rd floor, the surgical waiting area. Someone will update you. Maya followed the directions, her sneakers silent on the polished floor. The waiting area was stark. White walls, hard plastic chairs, a TV droning in the corner. Vanessa stood by a coffee machine, her face pale, and beside her was Daniel Harris, Ethan's right-hand man at the company, his tie loosened, eyes red-rimmed. Maya, Daniel said, stepping forward, his voice heavy. I'm so sorry. It happened so fast. What do you know? Maya asked, sinking into a chair, her purse clutched in her lap. Vanessa joined them, holding a paper cup. He was heading to a merger meeting with the Henderson Group. A truck ran a red light at Peachtree and 5th, hit his driver's side. The paramedics got him here within 20 minutes, but it isn't good. Maya's chest tightened, a vice squeezing her lungs. Why didn't anyone call me sooner? It just happened an hour ago, Daniel said. We called as soon as the police notified us. She nodded, her throat too tight to speak. The room felt suffocating, the hum of fluorescent lights drilling into her skull. She stared at the floor, tracing the gray tiles, trying to anchor herself. Ethan, her Ethan, with his sharp mind and stubborn heart, lying broken in an operating room. The thought was unbearable, yet so was the distance that had grown between them. She'd spent months fighting for their marriage, painting her pain into canvases. But now, faced with losing him, she realized how much she still loved him, flaws and all. Hours crawled by, each minute an eternity. More Caldwell Enterprises staff arrived, executives in suits, their faces grim. Lauren Brooks, the marketing director, sat across from Maya, her blonde hair pulled into a tight bun, her eyes glistening. He's strong, Lauren said, her voice soft. If anyone can pull through, it's Ethan. Maya nodded, unsure how to respond. Lauren's concern seemed genuine, but Maya had always sensed an ease between her and Ethan, a camaraderie that stung. She pushed the thought aside, focusing on the present. She couldn't afford jealousy now. Finally, a doctor in green scrubs emerged, his face lined with fatigue. Caldwell? Maya stood, her legs unsteady. Yes. How's my husband? I'm Dr. Patel, he said, gesturing for her to sit. Ethan sustained severe injuries, a fractured skull, internal bleeding, and significant head trauma. We've stabilized him, but he's in a medically induced coma to reduce brain swelling. The next 48 hours are critical. A coma? Maya's voice broke, the word foreign, heavy. Will he wake up? Dr. Patel's expression was guarded. We're hopeful, but head injuries are unpredictable. Even if he wakes, there could be complications, memory loss, cognitive issues, personality changes. We won't know until he's conscious. Maya's hands clenched in her lap, nails digging into her palms. Can I see him? Dr. Patel said he's being moved to the ICU. A nurse will take you soon. As the doctor left, Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. He's a fighter, Maya. He'll make it. She nodded, but her mind was elsewhere, picturing Ethan, his crooked smile, the way he'd hum off key in the shower. The ICU doors loomed like a gateway to an unknown world. A nurse, her badge reading Tanya, led Maya through, her voice gentle. He's in room 312. Take your time. Nothing prepared Maya for the sight. Ethan lay in a hospital bed, surrounded by beeping machines, tubes snaking from his arms and nose. His face was swollen, bruises blooming across his pale skin, his blonde hair matted with dried blood. He looked fragile and impossibly far away, not the commanding CEO, but a man stripped to his essence. Maya sank into the chair beside him, taking his hand. It was warm, a small comfort against the cold reality. Ethan, she whispered, her voice trembling. It's me. I'm here. She brushed her fingers against his cheek, careful of the bandages. You have to fight, okay? We're not done yet. Tears welled, but she blinked them back, drawing on the strength she'd honed through months of loneliness. She thought of her painting, the woman in the storm, unyielding. She would be that woman now, for Ethan, their marriage, and herself. Whatever lay ahead, recovery, complications, or the unbearable, she would face it with the same resolve that had carried her this far. As the machines beeped steadily, Maya made a silent vow. She would fight for him, not just to save his life, but to reclaim the love they'd lost. The accident had shattered their fragile status quo, and she saw a glimmer of possibility in its wreckage. A chance to rebuild. If only he would wake. Awakening to a blank slate. The ICU room at City General Hospital was a cocoon of sterile quiet, broken only by the rhythmic beeping of Ethan's monitors. Maya Caldwell sat beside his bed, her sketchbook in her lap, though her pencil hadn't touched the page in hours. 5 days had passed since the accident, each one a marathon of waiting, praying, and holding Ethan's hand, willing him to wake. The bruises on his face had deepened to purple, but the swelling had begun to subside, giving her fleeting glimpses of the man she'd married, his sharp jawline, the faint freckles across his nose. She clung to those details, anchors in the storm of uncertainty. Maya had barely left his side, sleeping in the stiff chair, her neck aching, her clothes rumpled. Clara, their housekeeper, had brought fresh clothes and coffee, while Nia, her best friend, had stopped by with encouraging words. But nothing eased the weight in Maya's chest. She'd spent months fighting for their marriage, painting her pain into vibrant canvases. But now, faced with Ethan's fragility, she felt helpless and fiercely protective. She whispered to him each night, stories of their early days, promises to try again, hoping her voice might reach him through the coma's fog. On the 5th day, as sunlight filtered through the blinds, casting stripes across Ethan's bed, Maya read aloud from a poetry book she'd found in the hospital gift shop. Her soft and steady voice recited lines about love, enduring storms, a quiet echo of her resolve. She paused mid-sentence, noticing a twitch in Ethan's fingers. Her heart leapt. "Ethan?" she said, leaning closer, her sketchbook sliding to the floor. His eyelids fluttered, then slowly opened. Clouded with confusion, his blue eyes darted around the room before settling on her. Where am I? His voice was raspy, barely above a whisper. Maya's breath caught. She hit the call button, her hands trembling. You're in the hospital, Ethan. You were in an accident. I'm here. He blinked, his gaze lingering on her face, searching, uncertain. Who are you? The words sliced through her, sharp and cold. She'd braced for complications. Dr. Patel had warned of memory loss. But hearing Ethan, her husband of 7 years, not know her was a pain she hadn't prepared for. She swallowed hard, forcing a smile. I'm Maya, your wife. Ethan frowned, his brow furrowing as if the word wife were a puzzle he couldn't solve. Wife? I'm not married. He tried to sit up, wincing as pain shot through him. The door swung open, and Dr. Patel hurried in, his stethoscope swinging. Mr. Caldwell, I'm Dr. Patel. You've been in a coma for 5 days after a car accident. What year is it? Ethan's eyes narrowed, his voice hesitant. 2015. Maya exchanged a glance with Dr. Patel, her stomach sinking. It was 2022, 7 years of their life. Meetings, fights, love, loss, gone. Dr. Patel nodded calmly, checking Ethan's pupils with a penlight. Can you tell me who this is? He asked, gesturing to Maya. Ethan studied her, his expression a mix of curiosity and confusion. He said, I don't know her, his voice tinged with apology. She says she's my wife, but... Maya's heart shattered, but she kept her face composed, drawing on the strength she'd honed through months of loneliness. It's okay, she said softly, touching his hand. We'll figure this out. Dr. Patel motioned her to step outside. In the hallway, the fluorescent lights buzzed, casting harsh shadows. He explained that your husband has retrograde amnesia, and his tone was measured. He's lost approximately 10 years of memories, likely including personal relationships like yours. His factual knowledge, business skills for instance, may be intact, but personal memories are often hit hardest. Will they come back? Maya asked, her voice barely above a whisper. It's unpredictable, Dr. Patel said. Some patients recover fragments over time. Others never fully regain them. Familiar settings, routines, or emotional triggers might help. But don't pressure him. Let him process at his own pace. Maya nodded, her mind racing. 10 years. Their first date at an Atlanta gallery, their wedding under Savannah Oaks, their fights over his workaholism, all erased. She felt a pang of grief, but beneath it, a flicker of something else. Hope. This Ethan, unburdened by the past, looked at her with a curiosity she hadn't seen in years. Could this be their chance to start over? Back in the room, Ethan stared at the ceiling, his hands fidgeting with the hospital blanket. Maya sat beside him, her sketchbook retrieved, now closed on her lap. I'm sorry, Ethan said, his eyes meeting hers. They say you're my wife, but it's like a blank. It's okay, Maya said, her voice gentle. The doctor tells you you've lost about 10 years. We met in 2014 and got married in 2015. We've been together 7 years. Ethan's eyes widened. 7 years? That's a lot. He studied her face, a faint smile tugging at his lips. You're beautiful. I can see why I'd marry you. Maya's cheeks warmed, a flush of surprise at the compliment. When was the last time Ethan had said something like that? Unprompted, unguarded. She laughed softly, brushing a braid behind her ear. Thanks. You weren't so bad yourself. Ethan said, Tell me something about us. His voice earnest, almost boyish. Anything. Maya hesitated, the weight of their recent distance looming. She could tell him about their struggles, his late nights, her loneliness, but instead, she chose a brighter memory. We met at my art show. You walked in, pretending to know all about abstract painting, but you were trying to impress me. You asked me for coffee, and we talked until the shop closed. Ethan chuckled, wincing slightly. Sounds like I was smooth. You were, Maya said, her smile bittersweet. You still are, when you want to be. He looked at her, his gaze intense, unguarded. I want to know more. About you, about us. Maya's heart fluttered, a mix of pain and possibility. This Ethan was different, open, curious, free of the ambition that had built walls between them. Yet, the fear lingered. What if his memories returned, bringing back the man who'd forgotten her? She pushed the thought aside, focusing on the moment. We've got time, she said. I'll tell you everything. As nurses bustled in to check Ethan's vitals, Maya opened her sketchbook, sketching the outline of his face, bruised but alive. The act grounded her, a reminder of her strength. She'd spent months painting through her pain, and now, faced with this blank slate, she saw a canvas of their own, a chance to repaint their love, stroke by stroke. But the question gnawed at her. Could she trust this new beginning? Or was it a fragile dream, destined to fade when his past returned, rediscovering each other? The Atlanta mansion glowed under the late November sun, its glass walls reflecting a sky streaked with gold. Inside, Maya Caldwell guided Ethan through the front door, his steps slow, a cane in his hand for support. 2 weeks had passed since he woke from his coma, and Dr. Patel had cleared him to return home, his physical injuries healing, but his memory still a void, missing 10 years, including their marriage. Maya had prepared the house carefully, removing clutter that might overwhelm him and placing framed photos of their early days, smiling at their wedding, laughing on a Savannah beach, to spark recognition. Ethan paused in the foyer, his blue eyes scanning the high ceilings and sleek furniture. This is where we live? He asked, his voice tinged with awe and disbelief. Maya nodded, setting his bag down for the past 5 years. Before that, we had a cozy apartment downtown. She watched his face, searching for a flicker of memory, but saw only curiosity. It's impressive, Ethan said, leaning on his cane as he moved toward the living room. He stopped at a photo on the mantel. Their wedding day, Maya in a flowing gown, he beaming beside her. We look happy here. We were, Maya said softly, her heart aching. She wanted to tell him how that happiness had faded, how his work had built walls between them. But she held back. Dr. Patel had advised against pressuring him, letting memories surface naturally. Ethan turned to her, his gaze warm, unguarded. Tell me about us. How did we meet? Maya smiled, the memory a bittersweet glow at an art gallery in Atlanta, 2014. I was showing my abstracts, bold, messy pieces. You walked in, pretending to be an art critic, throwing around words like luminosity to impress me. I saw right through you, but I liked your effort. You asked me to coffee, and we talked until midnight. Ethan chuckled, easing onto the couch. Sounds like I was bold. You were charming, Maya corrected, sitting beside him. You'd leave sketches in my books, little doodles of us. You used to say my art was my superpower. He looked at her, his eyes softening. You're an artist. That's incredible. Do you still paint? Every day, Maya said, her voice firm. It's my way of making sense of things. She hesitated, then stood. "Want to see my studio?" Ethan nodded, following her down the hall, his cane tapping softly. The studio was a haven of light. Canvases leaning against walls, paints scattered across a wooden table. Her latest work, The Woman in the Storm, stood on an easel, its vibrant swirls capturing resilience. Ethan studied it, his expression rapt. "This is yours?" "It's powerful, like it's alive." Maya's cheeks warmed at his praise, a rarity in recent years. "Thanks. It's how I've felt lately. Strong, but caught in chaos." He turned to her, his gaze intense. "Because of me? Because of us?" Maya's breath caught. She could tell him the truth, how his workaholism had left her lonely, but she chose a gentler path. "We've had challenges, like any couple, but we're here now." Ethan nodded, his fingers brushing the edge of a canvas. "I don't remember you, Maya, but I want to. You seem worth knowing." Her heart fluttered, a mix of hope and fear. This Ethan, free of his past ambition, looked at her like she was the only thing in the room. It was how he'd looked at her years ago, before Caldwell Enterprises consumed him. But could it last? She pushed the doubt aside, focusing on the moment. "Let's take it one day at a time," she said. Over the next few days, a tentative rhythm emerged. Still on medical leave, Ethan spent mornings resting, afternoons asking Maya about their life. She shared stories, their first trip to Savannah, where they danced in a rainstorm, their wedding, where he'd tripped over her train and laughed it off. Each story felt like a brushstroke, repainting their bond. Ethan listened, his questions earnest, his laughter a sound she'd missed. One evening, as they sat on the patio, the air crisp with autumn, Ethan pointed to the garden. "Did I ever help you out there? It looks like a place you'd love." Maya sipped her tea, and the mug was warm in her hands. "You used to, early on. We'd plant herbs together, but work took over, and—" She trailed off, not wanting to burden him. He leaned forward, his eyes searching hers. "I'm sorry, for whatever I did to make you hesitate like that." Maya said, "You don't need to apologize." Her voice soft but firm. "You're here now. That's what matters." Ethan reached for her hand, his touch tentative. "Can I see more of your art? I want to know who you are, not just who we were." Maya's heart swelled. She led him back to the studio, pulling out a canvas she'd started since his accident, a portrait of him. His features softened, his eyes curious rather than distracted. "This is you now," she said, her voice steady. "I started it in the hospital, trying to capture hope." Ethan studied the painting, but his expression was unreadable. "You see me like this? Not some stressed-out CEO?" Maya said, "You're more than that." Her brush in hand, adding a stroke to the canvas. "You always were." He watched her paint, the silence between them comfortable, charged with possibility. "I'm starting to see why I fell for you," he said, a shy smile breaking through. Maya laughed, the sound lighter than she'd felt in months. "Good. Because I'm not going anywhere." As they returned to the patio, the stars emerging above, Maya felt a shift. This Ethan was different, present, attentive, like the man she'd met at that gallery. Her unfinished painting was a testament to her strength, a refusal to let their past define her. Yet, a quiet fear lingered. What if his memories returned, bringing back the man who'd drifted away? For now, she held on to this moment, this fragile new beginning, determined to rebuild their love, one careful stroke at a time, uncovering the past's shadows, The Atlanta air carried a December chill, but the Caldwell mansion's garden bloomed with late roses, their petals a defiant red against the fading light. Maya Caldwell sat on a wrought iron bench, her sketchbook open to a new drawing, a silhouette of Ethan against the city skyline, his features softened by her pencil's strokes. 3 weeks had passed since Ethan's release from the hospital, his amnesia still a barrier to their past, but his curiosity had woven a fragile thread between them. Inside, Ethan pored over company reports, trying to relearn the empire he'd built, his cane resting against the desk. Maya paused her sketching, her thoughts drifting to the past days. Ethan's attentiveness, his questions about her art, his laughter at her stories, felt like a gift, a glimpse of the man she'd fallen for at that gallery. Yet each moment was shadowed by fear. Would his memories return, bringing back the distant CEO who'd forgotten her? She shook her head, focusing on the sketch, and her pencil traced the curve of Ethan's jaw. Her art was her anchor, a way to claim her space in this uncertain new chapter. The crunch of gravel pulled her from her thoughts. Nia, her best friend, approached, her locks adorned with silver cuffs, a wool coat wrapped tight against the cold. "Caught you daydreaming," Nia teased, settling beside her. "How's life with amnesia, Ethan?" Maya smiled, closing her sketchbook. "It's strange. He's present, Nia. He asks about my day and listens like he means it. Last night, he insisted we cook dinner together, burned the chicken, but we laughed about it." Nia raised an eyebrow. "Sounds like the Ethan you fell for. But you're still guarding your heart, aren't you?" Maya nodded, her fingers tracing the sketchbook's edge. "I can't help it. He doesn't remember the fights, the late nights when he'd choose work over me. What if Ethan comes back?" Nia leaned forward, her expression serious. "That's why I'm here. I heard something at the firm yesterday. Do you handle some of Caldwell Enterprises' contracts?" Maya's stomach tightened. "What did you hear?" "Nia said that one of our partners was talking about a merger that Ethan was pushing before the accident. It would have meant relocating to Singapore for 2 years. He was deep in talks with the board, Maya, but never mentioned it to you. They said he planned to tell you after your anniversary, like it was a done deal." Maya's breath caught, the sketchbook slipping to her lap. Singapore. 2 years. He never said a word. Naya's eyes softened. "I'm sorry. You should know. The old Ethan kept things from you. Big things. You need to be careful, even with this new version." Maya stared at the roses, their beauty now tinged with betrayal. Ethan had always justified his secrecy as protecting her from work stress. But this felt different. A decision that would have uprooted her life, art, and world without her input. She thought of her latest painting, The Woman in the Storm, and felt a surge of resolve. She wouldn't let this shake her. Inside, Ethan sat in his home office, papers spread across the desk. He looked up as Maya entered, his blue eyes brightening. "Hey, you're back early. Want to join me? I'm trying to make sense of these financials." Maya set her sketchbook down, her voice steady. "Ethan, why did you change? You weren't always distant." He leaned back, his cane shifting slightly. "You mean before the accident? I've been wondering that myself. From what I've read in my old emails, I was obsessed with the company. But why? What made me like that?" Maya took a breath, choosing her words carefully. "It started in 2018. Your dad had a heart attack, mild, but it scared you. He stepped down as CEO and you took over. You said you had to prove yourself and make him proud. The company became your everything, and I became secondary." Ethan's face fell, his fingers tightening on a pen. "Did I do that to you? Put you second?" "It wasn't just you," Maya said, her voice firm. "I let it happen too. I kept hoping you'd come back to me, but you were chasing something else. A legacy, maybe, or your dad's approval. He stood, wincing as he leaned on his cane and moved closer. I'm sorry, Maya. I don't remember it, but I hate that I hurt you. I want to be different now. She met his gaze, searching for sincerity. I believe you want that. But Nia told me something today. Before the accident, you planned a merger to move us to Singapore. 2 years, Ethan, and you didn't tell me. Ethan's eyes widened, his hand pausing midair. Singapore? I don't remember that. But I can check my notes and my emails. If I kept that from you, it was wrong. Maya nodded, her heart heavy but resolute. I need you to be honest with me, Ethan. No secrets. Not anymore. I promise, he said, his voice earnest. I'll look into it and find out what I was thinking. But right now, I want to know you, the real you. Maya softened, her anger easing. She picked up her sketchbook, flipping to the portrait she'd started of him. She said, "This is me knowing you," showing him the sketch, his face, open and curious. I'm painting the man you are now, not the one you were. Ethan studied the drawing, a slow smile spreading. That's how you see me? Not some corporate jerk? Not today, she said, a teasing edge to her voice. But we'll see. He laughed, the sound warm, unguarded. Fair enough. Can we plant something in that garden tomorrow? Together? Maya nodded, her heart lifting despite her doubts. Deal. But do not burn the plants like you did the chicken. As they laughed, the tension eased, but Maya's resolve held firm. She returned to her studio that evening, adding bold strokes to her portrait of Ethan, each one a claim to her strength. The Singapore revelation stung, a reminder of the past's shadows, but this new Ethan, curious, present, offered a chance to rewrite their story. She wouldn't let fear stop her, but she'd keep her eyes open, her brush ready, painting her way through whatever came next. A journey to Tokyo. The Tokyo skyline glittered like a sea of stars as Maya Caldwell gazed from their hotel suite's window, the city's neon lights pulsing below. It was their first evening in Japan, a trip Ethan had insisted she join him for. A business deal with a Japanese tech firm that could secure Caldwell Enterprises' Asian expansion. Maya had hesitated, the sting of Ethan's pre-accident secrecy about a Singapore merger still fresh. But his earnest plea, "I want you with me," had swayed her. Now, standing in the heart of Tokyo, she felt a mix of excitement and unease, her sketchbook tucked in her bag, ready to capture this new chapter. Ethan emerged from the bathroom, adjusting his tie, and his cane was left behind as his strength returned. Ready to explore? He asked, his blue eyes bright with anticipation. I've got a few hours before tomorrow's meeting. Maya nodded, slipping into a teal dress that hugged her curves. Let's see what Tokyo's got for us. They ventured into Shibuya, the streets alive with a cacophony of voices and flashing billboards. Maya sketched the iconic crossing, her pencil dancing over the page as crowds surged around them. Ethan watched, his smile warm. You make it look so easy, he said, leaning closer, like you're catching the city's soul. It's how I see things, Maya replied, adding a stroke of crimson to a neon sign. Art helps me hold on to moments. They wandered to a Shinto shrine tucked between skyscrapers, its red torii gate a quiet contrast to the city's chaos. Maya lit an incense stick, her hands steady as she prayed silently for their marriage. Ethan mimicked her, his movements awkward but sincere. What did you wish for? He asked, his voice low. Maya said we should keep finding each other and meet each other's gaze, no matter what. He took her hand, his touch warm, grounding. I'm trying, Maya. I want this, us, to work. Dinner was at a kaiseki restaurant, its private room overlooking a Zen garden. The raked gravel lit by lanterns. The meal unfolded in delicate courses: sashimi, simmered bamboo, a tiny bowl of miso soup, each plate a work of art. Maya savored the flavors, and her sketchbook opened to capture the garden's serenity. Ethan, between bites, studied the merger file, but his eyes kept drifting to her. Maya teased, "You're supposed to relax," pointing her chopsticks at him. "Guilty," Ethan said, closing the file. "But you're more interesting than any contract. Tell me about your art. What inspires you?" Maya paused, surprised by his interest. Everything. Emotions, places, people. Lately, it's been about strength, holding on through storms. She thought of her painting back home, the woman unyielding. "You're at work now, too." Ethan's smile softened. "I'm honored. I wish I remembered seeing you paint before." The words hung between them, a reminder of his amnesia. Maya reached for his hand, her fingers intertwining with his. "You're seeing me now. That's enough." As the server cleared their plates, Ethan's expression shifted, his eyes distant. "Maya, I just remembered something. A beach. You in a white sundress. The sun setting. We were laughing." Maya's heart skipped. "Fiji. Our honeymoon. You were taking my picture, saying I looked like a goddess." She smiled, but fear crept in. His memories were returning, fragments of their past, good and bad. Ethan rubbed his temple, his voice unsteady. "It's so clear, but it's just that moment. Nothing else." "That's a start," Maya said, her voice gentle but cautious. She wanted his memories back, but not the ones of late nights at the office, of her feeling invisible. Their conversation was interrupted by a knock. Lauren Brooks, Caldwell Enterprises marketing director, stepped in, her blonde hair sleek, her smile polished. "Ethan, I'm sorry to barge in," she said, her eyes flicking to Maya. "I was at the hotel bar and heard you were here. Can we review the presentation for tomorrow?" Maya's stomach tightened. Lauren's presence, her ease with Ethan, stirred unease, echoing Nia's warning about secrets. "It's our first night here," Maya said, her tone polite but firm. "Can it wait?" Lauren hesitated, her smile faltering. "Of course. I just thought, since we worked so closely on this deal before..." She trailed off, her gaze lingering on Ethan. Ethan squeezed Maya's hand. "Tomorrow, Lauren. I'm with my wife tonight." Lauren nodded, retreating with a tight smile. As the door closed, Ethan turned to Maya. "Sorry about that. She's eager, but I meant what I said. Tonight's ours." Maya nodded, but her mind churned. Lauren's words, worked so closely, felt like a shadow of the past, a reminder of Ethan's pre-accident life. Had there been more between them than work? She pushed the thought down, focusing on the garden outside, which was calm and a mirror to her resolve. Later, they strolled through Harajuku, vibrant streets with quirky shops and street performers. Maya sketched a kimono-clad dancer, her pencil capturing the fluid motion. Ethan bought her a small jade pendant, slipping it into her hand with a shy grin. "For your collection," he said, referencing the trinkets they'd collected on early trips. Maya fastened it to her necklace, her heart warming. "You're getting good at this romance thing." "I'm relearning," Ethan said, pulling her close as they watched the city pulse with the best teacher. Back at the hotel, Maya sat by the window, sketching the Tokyo skyline, its lights a mosaic of possibility. Ethan's memory flash was a crack in the wall of his amnesia, a sign of healing but also a risk. She added a stroke to her sketch, a bold line for strength. This trip was a chance to rebuild, to paint a new future, but Lauren's shadow and the looming return of Ethan's past kept her guarded. She glanced at him, asleep on the bed, his face peaceful. She'd face whatever came next with her brush in hand, her heart open, but her resolve unbroken. Confronting the past. The Atlanta skyline shimmered under a crisp December morning. As Maya Caldwell drove back from the airport, the hum of the city, a familiar comfort after their whirlwind Tokyo trip. The memory of Tokyo's neon lights and quiet shrines lingered, as did Ethan's unexpected warmth, his hand in hers, his laughter over burnt miso soup. But Lauren Brooks' intrusion at their kaiseki dinner, her words hinting at a close pre-accident bond with Ethan, had planted a seed of doubt in Maya's mind. She gripped the steering wheel, her resolve firm. She'd spent too long feeling invisible in her marriage. She wouldn't let ambiguity erode their fragile new start. Back at the mansion, Ethan was in the living room, flipping through a photo album Maya had left out to spark his memory. His cane rested against the couch, unused now as his strength returned. "You're back," he said, his blue eyes lighting up. "Missed you." Maya set her bag down, her sketchbook tucked inside, filled with Tokyo scenes. "Missed you too," she said, forcing a smile. The jade pendant he'd given her hung around her neck, a reminder of their connection, but Lauren's shadow loomed. "I was thinking of hitting the studio today. Got inspired in Tokyo." "Show me later?" Ethan asked, closing the album. "I want to see what you captured." She nodded, but her mind was elsewhere. "I'm heading downtown to run errands. Want to come? Can you stop by your office?" She kept her tone casual, but the idea had formed on the drive. A chance to see Ethan at Caldwell Enterprises, to gauge Lauren's behavior firsthand. Ethan hesitated, then grinned. "Sure. I'm not cleared for complete work yet, but a quick visit could help me piece things together." They drove to the Caldwell Enterprises tower, its glass facade gleaming in the sunlight. The elevator ride to the top floor was silent, Maya's fingers tracing the pendant, her heart racing. She wasn't just Ethan's wife today. She was a woman demanding clarity, her artist's eye sharp for truth. The executive floor buzzed with quiet efficiency. Vanessa, Ethan's secretary, looked up, startled. "Mr. Caldwell, Mrs. Caldwell, we weren't expecting you." "Just a quick stop," Ethan said, his hand brushing Maya's. "Anything urgent?" Vanessa shook her head. "Daniel's handling the Tokyo follow-up. Everything's under control." As they moved toward Ethan's office, Maya spotted Lauren in the conference room, her blonde hair pulled back, her tailored suit crisp. She reviewed charts with a colleague, her laughter carrying through the glass door. Then she saw Ethan and Maya, her smile tightening. "Ethan, what a surprise," she called, stepping out. "Didn't expect you back so soon." "Just visiting," Ethan said, his tone polite but distant. Maya wanted to see the place. Lauren's eyes flicked to Maya, a flash of something. Discomfort? Crossing her face. "Of course. It's great to see you both." Maya's pulse quickened. She couldn't shake Lauren's words in Tokyo, worked so closely, or Nia's warning about Ethan's secrecy. As Ethan stepped into his office to check emails, Maya lingered by the conference room, where Lauren gathered her papers. Their eyes met, and Maya decided it was now or never. "Lauren, can we talk?" Maya asked, her voice steady, her artist's resolve grounding her. Lauren nodded, closing the door behind them. "Sure. What's up?" Maya crossed her arms, her pendant glinting under the lights. "In Tokyo, you mentioned working closely with Ethan before his accident. What did you mean?" Lauren's smile faltered, her fingers tightening on a folder. We collaborated a lot on the Asian expansion. Late nights, brainstorming sessions. He was driven. Maya's gaze didn't waver. Was it more than that? Be honest. Lauren's eyes widened, then softened. Maya, I swear, it was professional. I admired Ethan, his focus, his vision. Maybe I misread his friendliness, but nothing happened. He was always clear about his commitment to you. Maya studied her, searching for deception, but Lauren's expression held only sincerity. Then why bring it up in Tokyo, like it was something special? Lauren sighed, setting the folder down. I was out of line. I saw how close you two were, and I guess I felt a little jealous. Not romantically, just of the connection. I'm sorry if I made you doubt him. Maya nodded slowly, the tension in her chest easing, but not vanishing. Thanks for being straight with me. As Lauren left, Ethan appeared, his brow furrowed. Everything okay? Maya took a breath, deciding to face the shadow head-on. I overheard Lauren talking about how close you were before the accident in Tokyo. It made me wonder if there was more to it. Ethan's face fell, his hand reaching for hers. Maya, I don't remember everything, but I know how I feel now. You're the only one I want. If I gave Lauren the wrong impression before, it was a mistake. I'm not that guy anymore. Maya searched his eyes, seeing the same openness she'd glimpsed in Tokyo. I believe you, she said, her voice firm. But no more secrets, Ethan. I need to trust you completely. I promise, he said, squeezing her hand. To prove it, I'm transferring Lauren to our London office. I don't want anything, anyone, coming between us. Maya's eyes widened. You don't have to do that. I want to, Ethan said. You're my priority, Maya. They left the office, the city's hum a backdrop to her thoughts. Back home, Maya retreated to her studio, pulling out a new canvas. Inspired by Tokyo's vibrant streets, she began a cityscape. Bold lines of neon against a dark sky, her brush moving with purpose. The painting was her claim to this moment, her strength in trusting Ethan again. Lauren's words had stung, but her honesty and Ethan's decisive action had cleared the air. As evening fell, Maya stood back, studying her work. The cityscape pulsed with life, much like her heart. Ethan knocked, leaning in the doorway, his smile soft. That's incredible, he said, nodding at the canvas. You're incredible. Maya smiled, setting her brush down. Paint with me tomorrow? Like we used to? Deal, Ethan said, stepping closer. No secrets, no distractions. Just us. Maya nodded, her fear easing. The past's shadows were fading, replaced by a tentative trust. Like their marriage, her painting was a work in progress. But she was ready to keep creating, stroke by stroke, with Ethan by her side. A Bali escape. The Balinese sun dipped low, casting a golden glow over Nusa Penita's turquoise waters as Maya Caldwell stood on the shore, her sketchbook open to a new page. The island's rugged cliffs and gentle waves inspired quick, fluid strokes of her pencil, capturing the scene's serenity. After their Tokyo trip, Ethan had surprised her with an extended getaway to Bali, insisting they needed time away from Atlanta's demands to nurture their fragile new bond. Maya had agreed, her heart lifted by his attentiveness, though a quiet caution lingered. Could they sustain this closeness when reality called? Ethan approached, his shirt unbuttoned, his blonde hair tousled by the sea breeze. He ditched his cane entirely, his recovery nearly complete. Caught you working, he teased, peering at her sketch. That's stunning. You make this place look magical. It is magical, Maya said, adding a curve to a wave. This trip feels like us. Again. She wore the jade pendant from Tokyo, a reminder of their renewed connection. They'd arrived in Bali 3 days ago, settling into a private villa with a thatched roof and infinity pool overlooking the ocean. Their days were filled with exploration, snorkeling among coral reefs where fish darted like living jewels, hiking to a hidden waterfall, its mist cooling their skin, and attending a Balinese dance performance in Ubud, where Maya sketched the dancers' intricate costumes, their movements a symphony of grace. Each moment felt like a brushstroke, painting over the cracks of their past. That evening, they dined at a cliffside restaurant, the table adorned with frangipani flowers, their sweet scent mingling with the salty air. Maya wore a flowing red dress, the pearl necklace Ethan had given her years ago, glinting in the candlelight. He raised a glass of coconut water, his blue eyes warm. "To us," he said, "and second chances." Maya clinked her glass, her smile genuine but tinged with caution. "To new beginnings." Between bites of nasi goreng, Ethan asked about her art dreams. "Have you ever thought about a big show? Like national? Your work deserves it." Maya paused, her fork hovering. "I used to dream of a gallery in New York, but life got in the way. The mansion, your work, I focused on keeping us together." Ethan's face softened, guilt flickering. "I'm sorry I made you put that on hold. You should go for it now. I'll be your biggest fan." She laughed, warmth spreading through her. "Be careful. You might have to carry my canvases." "Deal," he said, grinning. "But seriously, Maya, I want to support you. No more sidelining your dreams." Her heart swelled, but his phone buzzed on the table before she could respond. Ethan glanced at the screen, his expression shifting. "It's Daniel," he said, referring to his co-CEO. "I should take this." Maya nodded, her stomach tightening. She sipped her drink, watching him step away, his voice low but urgent. The call stretched, Ethan pacing by the railing, the ocean a dark expanse behind him. When he returned, his brow was furrowed. "There's a snag with the Tokyo deal. A supplier's backing out. Daniel wants me to weigh in." "Now?" Maya asked, her voice calm but edged. "We're in Bali." "I know," Ethan said, rubbing his neck. "He says it's urgent, but I told him I'd call back tomorrow. I'm here with you." Maya studied him, searching for signs of the old Ethan, the one who'd let work consume him. But his eyes held hers, steady, sincere. "Thank you," she said softly. "That means a lot." He reached for her hand. "I meant what I said in Tokyo. No distractions. But I want to ask you something. We talked about kids before. Why didn't it happen for us?" Maya's breath caught. The question was raw, vulnerable. A door to their past she'd kept closed. She said, "We tried for a couple of years," her voice steady, "but your work took over. We were barely together, and stress didn't help. We stopped talking about it." Ethan's jaw tightened, his hand squeezing hers. "I'm sorry I let that happen. Do you still want a family?" She looked out at the ocean, its waves a soothing rhythm. "I do. But it's scary, Ethan. Things are good now, but what if I slip back?" He finished, his voice gentle. "I won't. This trip, it's what matters. I want us to try again. For a family, if you're ready." Maya's eyes glistened, the weight of his words settling in. "I'd like that," she said, her voice soft but firm. "Let's take it one step at a time." He nodded, pulling her close, his arms a warm anchor. One step at a time. The next day, they visited a Balinese temple, its stone carvings intricate under the morning sun. Maya sketched the offerings, woven palm baskets filled with flowers, while Ethan lit incense, his earlier call with Daniel brief and delegated. As they walked hand in hand, Maya felt a shift. Ethan was choosing her, even with work's pull. She opened her sketchbook and started a new drawing. A dancer from Ubud, her costume vibrant, her pose defiant. It was her, claiming this moment, her art a testament to her strength. Back at the villa, as stars emerged, Maya stood on the balcony, her sketchbook open. Ethan joined her, his arm around her waist. "I could get used to this," he said, kissing her temple. "You? Me? No deadlines." Maya leaned into him, her heart full but cautious. "Let's keep it that way," she said, her pencil tracing a final line. The Bali escape was a dream, but Daniel's call was a reminder. Work was never far away. She'd paint through it, hold on to this love. But her eyes were open, her resolve as intense as the waves below. Memories return. The Atlanta mansion was cloaked in the hush of a late December night, the moon casting silver light through the bedroom windows. Maya Caldwell lay awake, her sketchbook on the nightstand, its pages filled with Balinese dancers and ocean waves from their recent trip. Beside her, Ethan slept, his breathing steady, his blonde hair mussed against the pillow. Their Bali escape had deepened their bond. Ethan's attentiveness and his choice to prioritize her over work had felt like a promise kept. Yet, Maya's heart remained guarded, the fear of his old self lingering like a shadow. A sudden cry shattered the silence. Ethan bolted upright, his hands clutching his head, sweat glistening on his brow. "The truck!" he gasped, his blue eyes wild, darting as if seeing something beyond the room. Maya reached for him, her heart racing. "Ethan, wake up! It's okay. You're safe." She shook him gently, her fingers firm on his shoulders. He blinked, his breathing ragged, his gaze locking onto her. "Maya, it wasn't a dream. I saw it. The accident. I was driving, thinking about quarterly reports, and the truck came out of nowhere." He shuddered, his voice breaking. "It's coming back. My memories." Maya's stomach dropped, a chill spreading through her. She'd longed for his recovery, but each fragment, like the Fiji honeymoon flash in Tokyo, brought the risk of his workaholic past resurfacing. "What else do you remember?" she asked, her voice steady despite her fear. Ethan rubbed his temples, his face contorted. "Everything. My dad's heart attack, taking over as CEO, the board meetings, the deals, and us." He looked at her, his eyes heavy with guilt. "I remember neglecting you, Maya, forgetting your birthday, missing dinners, and putting the company first." Maya's throat tightened. She'd braced for this moment, but hearing it confirmed was a fresh wound. "You remember all of it?" He nodded, his voice low. "The night before the accident, we fought. You said you wanted your husband back, and I brushed it off. I was driving to work, thinking about what you said, wondering if I could cut back. Then the truck hit, and..." He trailed off, his hands trembling. Maya sat back, her mind reeling. The Ethan she'd rediscovered, attentive, present, was now overlaid with the man who'd let her fade into the background. She considered her painting, the woman in the storm, and drew strength from it. "What does this mean for us?" she asked, her voice firm. "Are you still that man?" Ethan reached for her hand, his grip urgent. "No, Maya. I remember being that guy, obsessed, blind to what mattered. But I also remember falling in love with you again. In the hospital, in Tokyo, and Bali. That's real. I don't want to go back." She searched his eyes, seeing sincerity but fear, his dread of slipping into old habits. I want to believe you, she said, her voice raw. But I've been hurt before. You kept secrets, like the Singapore merger. I need honesty, Ethan, no matter what you remember. He nodded, his jaw tight. I owe you that. I checked my emails after you told me about Singapore. I was planning to move us there, thinking it was best for the company. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd hate leaving your studio, your life here. I was going to present it as a done deal. That was wrong. Maya's chest ached, the betrayal sharp despite his candor. You were going to decide my life for me? I was a fool, Ethan said, his voice breaking. I thought success was the company, not us. I'm sorry, Maya. I want to be the man you deserve, not the one I was. She stood, pacing to the window, her fingers brushing the jade pendant from Tokyo. Her art had carried her through their distance, and now it grounded her in the storm of truth. I've been painting you, she said, turning to face him. The man you are now. Open, trying. But I'm scared, Ethan. I'm falling for you again, and I don't know if I can trust it. Ethan rose, wincing slightly, and crossed to her. I'm scared too, but these weeks with you, without the baggage, showed me what I was missing. I won't let that go. Maya, please hold me accountable. No secrets, no slipping back. She met his gaze, her resolve as strong as her canvas. Then we do this together. You tell me everything. Work, memories, all of it. And I'll keep being honest with you. Deal, Ethan said, pulling her into a tentative embrace. I love you, Maya. That's the one thing I've never forgotten, even when I didn't know. She leaned into him, her heart torn between hope and caution. I love you too, she whispered, but we've got work to do. The next morning, Maya retreated to her studio, the light streaming through the windows. She pulled out her portrait of Ethan, its lines capturing his new warmth, and added a shadow, a nod to his past, her fear. Each stroke was a choice, her way of navigating this turning point. Ethan joined her, watching quietly. That's me? He asked, pointing to the canvas. It's you, Maya said, her brush moving. I'm choosing to trust the man, but keeping my eyes open. He nodded, his expression solemn. I'll earn it, Maya, every day. As she painted, Maya felt a shift. Ethan's memories had returned, a flood that could have drowned their new start. But his honesty gave her hope. She'd keep painting and fighting for them. Her art mirrored her strength. The past was back, but so was their chance to rewrite it, together. Proving change under pressure. The Atlanta morning was crisp, the January sun filtering through the mansion's windows, casting soft light across Maya Caldwell's studio. She stood before a canvas, her brush sweeping bold strokes of indigo and gold, crafting a cityscape inspired by Tokyo's neon pulse. Ethan's full memory returned from a week ago had shaken her, and his recollection of their strained marriage was a stark reminder of the past hurts. Yet, his vow to be different, honest, present, had sparked hope. Maya painted purposefully, and her art was a declaration of strength as she navigated this new chapter. Ethan knocked, leaning in the doorway, his blonde hair catching the light. That's incredible, he said, nodding at the canvas. You're unstoppable. Maya smiled, wiping paint from her hands. Thanks. I'm prepping for a gallery show next month. First big one in years. She'd contacted a local curator, her resolve to pursue her dreams reignited by their Bali talks. Need a hand? Ethan asked, stepping closer. I'm free today. Maya raised an eyebrow, teasing. No urgent CEO emergencies? He grinned, but his phone buzzed, the screen flashing Daniel Harris. His smile faded. Speak of the devil. Let me take this. Maya nodded, her heart tightening. She returned to her painting, listening as Ethan's voice carried from the hall, low and tense. "Daniel, can't you handle it? I'm not flying out on a whim." He paused, then sighed. "Fine, I'll review it today, but I'm staying put." He returned, his expression apologetic. "There's a crisis with the European expansion. A key investor is pulling out, and the board is panicking. Daniel wants me in London." Maya set her brush down, her stomach nodding. This was the test. Work's pull against his promise to prioritize her. "Are you going?" she asked, her voice steady but searching. Ethan shook his head. "No, I told Daniel to lead the talks. I'm staying here with you." "I meant what I said, Maya. Our marriage comes first." Her shoulders relaxed, but caution lingered. "That's a big deal, Ethan. The old you would have been on a plane already." "I know," he said, his blue eyes earnest. "But I'm not that guy anymore. I'm helping with your show instead. What can I do? Can I frame canvases or make coffee runs?" Maya laughed, the tension easing. "You're on coffee duty. But seriously, thank you. This matters." They spent the morning in the studio, Ethan hauling canvases while Maya arranged her portfolio. Vibrant abstracts, Tokyo cityscapes, and Ethan's portrait, now complete with its subtle shadow. His presence, steady and unhurried, felt like a gift. But as noon approached, his phone buzzed again. A text from Daniel. Ethan frowned, typing a quick reply. "He's persistent," he muttered. "What's the stakes?" Maya asked, pausing her work. Ethan sighed, setting the phone down. "If the investor pulls out, we lose a significant contract. The board's pressuring me to step in, but I delegated it to Daniel. He's capable." Maya nodded, her heart warming at his choice. "You're trying, aren't you?" "Every day," Ethan said, his hand brushing hers. "I almost lost you once. I won't risk it again." That afternoon, they drove to Caldwell Enterprises to address another pressing matter. The Singapore merger Maya had learned about from Nia. Ethan had promised to confront it, and she wanted to be there. The tower's glass walls gleamed as they entered the executive floor, where Daniel greeted them, his tie askew. "Ethan, good to see you. Maya, didn't expect you. She's part of this," Ethan said firmly, leading them to his office. He pulled up files on his computer, his jaw tight. "I found the Singapore emails. I was pushing the merger, planning to relocate us without telling you, Maya. It should secure the company's future." Maya's chest ached, the betrayal resurfacing. "And my future? My art? My life here?" Ethan met her gaze, guilt etched in his features. "I was wrong. I saw it as my decision, not ours. I'm sorry." She nodded, her resolve firm. "So, what now?" "I'm killing the deal," Ethan said, his voice decisive. "I told the board this morning. They're not thrilled, but I clarified that my marriage comes first. If they don't like it, they can find another CEO." Maya's eyes widened, and a mix of shock and pride swelled. "You'd walk away from the company? For you?" "Yes," Ethan said, his hand finding hers. "Success isn't worth losing us." Daniel cleared his throat, shifting uncomfortably. "The board's rattled, Ethan. They're questioning your priorities." "Let them," Ethan replied, his tone unwavering. "I'm a better leader when I'm balanced. Maya taught me that." Back home, Maya returned to her studio, her brush flying across a new canvas, a bold swirl of colors, capturing her hope and strength. Ethan's choices today, staying for her, rejecting Singapore, were proof of his change. But she knew work's demands wouldn't vanish. She painted a streak of gray, a nod to that reality, her art a mirror of her trust and caution. That evening, they sat on the patio, the winter air sharp. Ethan sipped coffee, watching her sketch. "I'm proud of you," he said. "Your show's going to be amazing." Maya smiled, her pencil pausing. "I'm proud of you too." "Today wasn't easy." "It's worth it," Ethan said, his hand warm over hers. "You're worth it." Maya leaned against him, the jade pendant cool against her skin. Like their marriage, her painting was evolving, vibrant, complex, grounded in trust. The crisis had tested Ethan, and he'd chosen her. But as stars emerged above, she knew challenges would come. She'd face them, brush in hand, ready to paint their future together. A new beginning. The Atlanta spring bloomed vibrantly, cherry blossoms carpeting the garden of Ethan and Maya Caldwell's new home. A cozy Victorian house, a far cry from their ostentatious mansion. The air was sweet with flowers as Maya stood in the garden, her white dress flowing, the jade pendant from Tokyo glinting at her throat. Today was twofold: their vow renewal ceremony, a testament to their rebuilt love, and the opening of Maya's first major gallery exhibition downtown. Her heart hummed with anticipation, her artist's soul alive with possibility. After proving his commitment by rejecting the Singapore merger and delegating a work crisis to Daniel, Ethan had proposed the vow renewal weeks ago. The new house, with its hardwood floors and sunlit studio, was his idea too. A home for their future, not a status symbol. Maya had poured herself into her art, preparing for the exhibition. Her canvases were a vibrant chronicle of their journey. Tokyo's neon, Bali's waves, and Ethan's softened gaze. Now, as guests gathered on white chairs beneath a rose-covered arch, she felt the weight of their second chance. Naya, her best friend, adjusted Maya's dress, her locks adorned with gold beads. "You ready, girl?" Nia asked, her smile radiant. "You're glowing." Maya nodded, her fingers brushing the pearl necklace Ethan had given her years ago. "More than ready. It's like we're starting fresh, but stronger." Nia squeezed her hand. "You've earned this. And that gallery show tonight? You're about to take Atlanta by storm." Maya laughed, her nerves easing. The garden buzzed with loved ones. Clara, their housekeeper, dabbing her eyes. Daniel, looking proud but harried. Ethan's father, his stern face softened by the occasion. Ethan waited by the arch, his suit sharp, his blue eyes locked on her. As Maya walked toward him, the minister's voice welcoming everyone, she felt time collapse. Their first wedding, their struggles, their rediscovery in Tokyo and Bali, all leading to this moment. Ethan took her hands, his smile radiant. "You're breathtaking," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. The minister spoke of second chances, of love that endures trials. Then Ethan began his vows, his voice clear, resonating through the garden. "Maya, 7 months ago, I woke up not knowing you, lost in a fog. Getting to know you again, your strength, your art, your heart. I fell in love again. I was a fool to take you for granted before. Today, I promise to put you first, be your partner in every dream, and love you more each day, for all our days." Tears shimmered in Maya's eyes as she spoke, her voice steady. "Ethan, when you lost your memory, I thought I'd lost you. But we found each other, choosing love every day. I promise to choose." Embracing the future, the Atlanta summer sun bathed the garden of Ethan and Maya Caldwell's Victorian home in a golden glow, the cherry blossoms replaced by vibrant hydrangeas. Maya sat on a wooden bench, her sketchbook open, her pencil tracing the delicate curve of a flower. 6 months had passed since their vow renewal and her triumphant gallery exhibition, where her paintings, Tokyo's neon, Bali's waves, Ethan's portrait, had sold out, cementing her place in Atlanta's art scene. Now, with a baby on the way, she felt a quiet certainty, her art and love intertwined. Inside, Ethan was on a video call in his home office, his blonde hair catching the light as he discussed Caldwell Enterprises' latest strategy. Since restructuring his role to share leadership with Daniel, he'd kept his promise, home by 6 most evenings, weekends free for Maya. But work's pull remained, a subtle undercurrent testing their new balance. Maya sketched a bold line, her heart steady but ever watchful, her resolve as strong as her brushstrokes. She closed her sketchbook, her hand resting on her slightly rounded belly. The pregnancy, confirmed weeks after the vow renewal, was a joyful milestone, but it brought new fears. Would parenthood strain Ethan's commitment? Her art anchored her, each canvas a testament to her strength. She'd started a new piece, a gift for Ethan, depicting their journey, a car symbolizing the accident, woven with vibrant threads of their rediscovery. Ethan stepped onto the patio, his suit jacket off, his smile warm. "Hey, artist," he said, kissing her forehead. "How's our masterpiece doing?" He placed a hand on her belly, his touch gentle. "Kicking already," Maya said, laughing. "This kid's got your energy." He grinned, sitting beside her. "Good. They'll need it to keep up with you. How's the sketch?" Maya showed him the hydrangea, its petals vivid, just capturing the moment. "You done for the day?" "Almost," Ethan said, his expression shifting. "There's a supply chain issue in Europe. Daniel's handling it, but the board's pushing me to fly out next week." Maya's heart tightened, the familiar pull of work stirring old doubts. "You're not going, right?" Ethan shook his head, his blue eyes steady. "No. I told them Daniel's got it. I'm not missing our ultrasound appointment." He took her hand, the jade pendant from Tokyo glinting at her throat. "You and our baby come first." She nodded, relief mingling with caution. "It's still hard to trust sometimes," she admitted, her voice soft. "You've kept your promises, but work's always there." "I know," Ethan said, his grip tightening. "The accident showed me what I was risking. Losing you, losing us. I won't let that happen again. If the board pushes too hard, I'll step back further." Maya searched his eyes, seeing the man who'd chosen her in Bali, who'd rejected Singapore. "I believe you," she said, her voice firm. "But we keep talking, okay? No slipping back." "Deal," Ethan said, kissing her hand. "You hold me accountable, and I'll keep showing up." That evening, they hosted a quiet dinner, the dining room warm with candlelight. Nia and Clara joined them, the table laden with grilled fish and summer greens. Nia raised a glass, her locks catching the light to Maya, the art world's newest star, and Ethan, who's finally figured out what matters. Ethan laughed, clinking glasses to Maya, who saved us. Maya smiled, her heart full. After dinner, she led Ethan to her studio, unveiling her gift, a canvas blending the stark outline of a car with vibrant swirls of color, symbolizing their accident and renewal. "This is us," she said, her voice steady. "The crash, Tokyo, Bali, our baby, our story." Ethan's eyes glistened, his fingers tracing the painting. "It's perfect. You've captured everything. Our pain, our love. I'm keeping this forever." She handed him a small box, a silver charm inside, a tiny car, like the one in the painting. "For our anniversary next month," she said. It was a reminder of where we started and where we're going. Ethan fastened it to a chain he wore, his voice thick. "I love you, Maya, more than I thought possible." She said, "I love you too," leaning into him even when it's hard. As they danced under the stars in their garden, the music soft from a speaker, Maya reflected on their journey. The accident had been a brutal gift, stripping Ethan's memories, but giving them a chance to rebuild. Her art had carried her through, each canvas a step toward reclaiming herself, her love, her future. Challenges loomed, parenthood, Ethan's work, but she was no longer afraid. They'd faced the worst and emerged stronger, partners in every sense. The stars above twinkled, a canvas of their own. Maya rested her head on Ethan's chest, his heartbeat steady. "What are you thinking?" he asked, his arms around her. "About destiny," she said. "We lost each other, but found something better, a love we choose daily." Ethan kissed her, and he whispered a vow. "Forever." Maya smiled, her hand on her belly, her sketchbook nearby. Their story wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. Painted in bold strokes, resilient, extraordinary.